Hello, Mario baseball fans. We are here with you for this Shell League matchup between the DK Wilds and the Wario Muscles on the second game of Week 1 of the inaugural season of the Mario Sluggers League. I'm Danny Diamond, joined here by the crankiest of all of us on the commentary team, Cranky Kong. So tell us, you bitter sap, what can we look for in this matchup today?
I don't know, Danny. All I know is my grandson talks nonstop about how he's assembled some sort of dream team. I guess I'll believe it when I see it. My good 4-0 grandson Donkey Kong hitting in the 4th slot in the lineup was mentioning something about how the league deemed that him hitting with a bat was unfair, and how did he word it? OP. Something like that. Anyway, he is required to use a gloved fist to bat rather than a real bat. Keep in mind, he's not the only one with this rule in place. We saw PB Piranha in yesterday's game just hitting with his leafy hand. He didn't even get a glove, so I don't want to hear any complaints from Donkey Kong. As for the other side, keep an eye on Boo on the pitching mound. Boo's curveballs can be unhittable when he's on his game. You really never know when that break is going to happen.
Thanks, Cranky. Let's get this game rolling and see which of these teams will add their very first win in team history on Week 1 of the 2024 season. We start with the aforementioned Boo on the mound facing off against the DK Wild's leadoff guy, Diddy Kong. He smokes one down the left field line that drops right on top of the foul line for a fair ball. If that's a foreshadowing of how this game is going to go for the DK Wilds, I would be worried as a Wario Muscles fan. Dixie Kong follows up with a base hit, but is unable to capitalize on Red Koopa getting puffed by a Stunflower and holds on to just a single. Dixie's little sister Tiny Kong is up next with an RBI chance as she sways her hips up to the batter's box.
I don't understand kids these days and their little emotes they do.
Tiny slaps the ball towards shortstop, but with the power of garlic, Wario leaps to catch the ball and double up Diddy at second base.
And here's my good 4-0 grandson acting like he's hot stuff. He's never done anything to be proud of.
That's a noteworthy swing, as that ball is driven way out to right center field and Red Koopa leaps high, but it gets past him for a 2-run home run.
I've got no idea why the one with wings didn't fly up to get it. Makes no sense to launch the one without wings. Fools, I'll never hear the end of this.
Next up is King K. Rool, who politely put his differences with DK aside for the sake of creating a winning baseball team. He drives that ball directly to center field and beyond the confines of the field for another home run as DK and his arch nemesis go back-to-back with Kong-sized bombs.
I have nothing positive to say about this herb. He can be agreeable now, but he cannot be trusted, and my grandson is a fool for believing he can.
Boo seems to be getting a bit rattled here, but will continue on as Funky Kong comes up to bat. Powerful hit, but it makes its way over the wall into foul territory for strike one. He straightens out the next swing paratrooper backpedals and makes a very nice catch to end the inning for the Kongs.
I admit their bats can talk, but hitting is only one element of the game. I imagine they're going to stumble around quite a bit in the field with their oversized muscles and such.
Diddy Kong pitches a looping curveball that gets Koopa swinging for a strike. Ground ball that does not get past the diving critter, who throws over to first for out number 1. Next is Red Koopa up to bat, who takes the first pitch for a strike on the inside corner.
Donkey Kong looks like such a fool, how he's standing out there mindlessly behind Diddy.
Critter takes inspiration from Groundhog Day and repeats himself by making another diving stop for the second out.
Notice how you never see Donkey Kong making those plays. He's lazy and makes others do all the work.
Donkey Kong makes a diving stop and throws over to first for the final out of the inning. You couldn't have wrote that script any better than that.
Whose side are you on here, Danny? DK has ridden by on luck all his life. Right time, right place. That's all.
I take no sides, I just call the game as it happens. Here is Critter up to bat, who takes the 0-1 pitch into the outfield for a leadoff single for the DK Wilds.
Boo seems to be getting discouraged out there. They may need to think about pulling him. I can't tolerate seeing my grandson get another lucky hit off of him and capitalizing off of a handout like he has all of his life.
Brown Critter lines it to left field, but Paragoomba flies over and makes the catch for the out. Next we have Baby DK, who grounds it to Goomba, who tosses to second for 1 and over to first for a double play to end the inning. We have King Boo Wario and Waluigi up next in the order for the Wario Muscles in the bottom half of the second inning.
I wish this guy would keep his tongue in his mouth. When I was a kid, we would have gotten popped with a cane for behaving so uncouth.
King Boo lines one over the leaping Donkey Kong for a hit into the gap. Dixie corrals it and gets it back and quickly holding King Boo to a single. Wario is up next and he obliterates this ball to right field, and it's long gone for a 2-run home run to put the Muscles within 1 run.
It's Donkey Kong's fault because it should only be a 1-run home run. I've seen Donkey Kong jump much higher when leaping to grab a banana from a tree than when he jumped to allegedly try to catch that liner that got over his head in the previous at-bat. It's despicable laziness.
Whatever it may be, it's what time as Waluigi steps up to the plate and hits the 0-1 pitch foul for the second strike. He hits the next pitch right past the diving and rolling Donkey Kong for a base hit, and I already know Cranky Kong is going to have something to say about that one.
I don't need to say anything, we all saw it.
DK scoops that one-up fires to second and over to first for the double play that empties the bases for Goomba at bat next. Goomba hits a grounder to Critter, who tosses it over to Tiny Kong at first for the third out.
Donkey Kong should be feeling a lot less cocky now that the only reason he's winning is because King K. Rool can hit home runs too. Donkey Kong's home run is basically net zero now.
I mean, without DK's home run, they would be losing by 1, so I don't know about that. Diddy Kong hits a grounder to second base and is retired for the leadoff out. And if you were ever curious as to if ghosts can get tired, the answer is clear here as Boo is pitching on fumes now. Dixie Kong, who's 1 for 1 in the game so far, hits a hard shot that makes its way foul in left field, turning the count to 0-2. Boo answers with a nasty curveball that gets Dixie Kong swinging for strike 3 and out number 2. Tiny Kong hits a liner to Wario, who uses the weight of his giant head to create horizontal momentum to make the diving catch for the third out.
Hopefully that shows my lousy grandson that effort can make up for lack of athleticism. If Donkey Kong wasn't so lazy, he'd have much more success, like an upstanding guy like Wario.
Paragoomba lines that hit directly at Critter, who hauls it in for the first out. Next up we have Koopa, who hits it up the middle, but Critter lays out to nab it and throw Koopa out at first. Now let's see if having the ability to not walk off of ledges helps Red Koopa have a better at-bat. And almost the exact same thing happens, except Critter didn't even let that one touch the ground as he preserves that rotator cuff by not having to make a throw to first. The Power Bats are up next for the DK Wilds in the form of DK King K. Rool and Funky Kong.
Sounds like the perfect time for a bathroom break. I'll be right back.
I'll hold down the booth while you're gone. And DK clobbers that won to right field, and even Paragoomba's wings won't help him grab that one as Donkey Kong hits his second home run of the game to add some cushion to their lead. Much to the chagrin of Cranky Kong, DK is having a fantastic game at the plate and seems to be unstoppable. The DK Wilds now have a 2-run cushion as they now lead this game with a score of 4-2 in the top of the 4th inning. We now have a pitching change as Waluigi comes in for relief of Boo to hopefully settle down the bats of the DK Wilds. His first pitch is blasted to the gap in left center, but looks like he got underneath it a bit too much as Red Koopa settles under it to put King K. Rool away for the first out. Waluigi attempts his liar ball star pitch, but Funky Kong holds back and lets it pass on by for a strike. Waluigi attempts it again, but Funky Kong slaps it into right field for a base hit.
All right, I'm back. What did I miss?
Well, Donkey Kong crushed.
I know, everybody knows. I could hear Donkey Kong's unbearable shouts of excitement from the bathroom. There's no escaping it. What happened after that?
Well, Critter hits a long fly ball to the left field warning track that Paragoomba camps under for the second out. But we had a pitching change, and now Waluigi is pitching and was able to get King K. Rool to fly out to the warning track. Funky Kong singled, and here we are with 2 outs and Brown Critter is up to bat.
Sounds like I missed nothing then.
Brown Critter bashes that fall to the corner of left field, and it stays fair and sails over the wall for a 2-run dinger to add to more runs to the DK Wilds lead.
It really seems that Donkey Kong is making the rest of his team do all the work for him. They smack all these home runs and tire out the pitchers for Donkey Kong to get his own home runs in, to make himself look good even though he's just capitalizing on handed out opportunities.
Speaking of Donkey Kong, we're going to turn it over to our on-the-field reporter Pauline for a quick update she has after speaking to Donkey Kong in the dugout. Take it away, Pauline.
Thank you, Danny and Cranky. Pauline here, bringing you an exclusive report from the dugout where I had the pleasure of chatting with the one and only Donkey Kong about his incredible game today. The DK Wilds are leading the Wario Muscles 6-2 in the bottom of the 4th inning, and DK has been absolutely smashing it on the field. It's all about the power and the timing, he said. He explained he's been feeling great at the plate, and he just knew he could make solid contact. His first 2 at-bats were all about finding the right pitch and giving it his all. He loves the feeling of seeing those balls soar over the fence. On the pitching side, Diddy Kong has been holding it down for the Wilds. DK had high praise for his teammates' efforts, saying Diddy's doing an amazing job on the mound. He's keeping the Muscles off balance with his pitches, and it's making a huge difference. Our defense has been solid, and we're just working together to keep our lead. As always, Donkey Kong's enthusiasm and team spirit are contagious, and it's clear that the DK Wilds are in great hands with him leading the charge. Let's see if they can keep up this fantastic performance and bring home the win. This is Pauline signing off from the dugout. Stay tuned for more exciting updates.
Thanks, Pauline.
No, that was a horrible report. Any good reporter would know Donkey Kong's humble attitude is just a facade.
And we will have a pitching change at an interesting time with just 1 out remaining in the top of the 5th inning. Wario is now on the mound for the Muscles, and he immediately allows a base hit off the bat of Tiny Kong.
I guess they just aren't confident that anyone other than Wario wouldn't give Donkey Kong here a weak pitch. We know every other pitcher has.
And DK lines it into center field for a single to go 3 for 3 in this ball game.
Look, at least Wario didn't just toss him an easy one. He made him have to work for that hit. First thing DK has ever earned in his life.
And King K. Rool's hit is gathered up by Goomba, who lobs it to first to get the 3rd out and bring up the bottom of the 5th inning. Professor Egad, you're on the horn. Can you tell us what the probability is that the Wario Muscles can make a comeback in this game?
Greetings. Professor E. Gad here, ready to dive into the thrilling probabilities of our current baseball scenario. The Wario Muscles are down 6-2 to the DK Wilds in the bottom of the 5th and final inning, with Waluigi, Palatruma, and Goomba coming up to bat against Diddy Kong's pitching. Let's assume each batter has an assumed on-base percentage of 30%. To tie the game, the Muscles need for runs, requiring multiple consecutive successful at-bats.
Just a jumpin' professor. Waluigi just hit a double to put a runner in scoring position.
Intriguing development. Anyway, the probability for consecutive batters reaching base is quite low at 0.81%. However, considering the dynamics of baseball with possible hits, walks, and errors, crunching the numbers puts overall probability around 5%.
Things are developing quick here, Professor, as the Muscles just drove in a run with one out.
How exciting! So, in essence, while the odds are not heavily in favor of the Wario Muscles tying the game, the unpredictability of baseball always leaves room for surprises. With an estimated 5% chance of achieving the necessary runs, the Muscles still have a fighting chance, making every pitch and swing of the bat crucial in this nail-biting final inning. Keep your eyes on the game, for anything can happen until the last out is made.
Thanks, Professor. The Muscles have once again driven in another run to cut the lead down to 2 runs here in the bottom of the 5th with 2 outs.
This is all Donkey Kong's fault. He idiotically brought himself into pitch, and then he just stood there as that last ball went right past his head.
And that's a line drive straight into the glove of the somersaulting Diddy Kong to thwart the comeback attempt and end this game with a win for the DK Wilds over the Wario Muscles. That game really came down to the wire and surely had to strike some panic into the hearts and minds of the Wilds and their fans as they watched their lead quickly decrease right there at the end. But they managed to hold on.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Donkey Kong's luck will run out eventually. Nobody can have so much success falling up like Donkey Kong has. It just is not sustainable.
Say what you will, but he's this game's MVP, going 3-for-3 with 2 home runs and was responsible for half of their runs.
It's rigged.
For Cranky Con Pauline and Professor Egad, I'm Danny Diamond signing off. See you all next time.